All right, guys, let's take a look at a slight refresh of a model that's been out for not that long, really, to begin with. But when Casio G-Shock came out with the GA2100 or 2100, dubbed the Casio, it's hard to even say for me. It was an instant hit. There was three colors. I think there was a blacked out one, a red one, and then I forget what the other color was. But we all pretty much knew there was going to be more colorways soon to follow. Well, here we go. We have them now, late 2020. These two were added to an already growing lineup. These are the two most recent colorways. This one here is the GA2110ET-8A, and then that's the, I guess we're going to call it light gray or something. And then the 2A is the more navy blue with a tan-ish, tan grayish bezel. So a two-tone bezel is what you're going to get when you do the 2110 versus a monochromatic type colorway with just the 2100 series, is the way I understand it. So let's take a look. Actually, let's take a look at the blue one first. As you can see, it is a really nice dark, soft colored blue. It's not like shiny, I guess, not glossy or anything like that. Case size on all of these 2100s, 2110s are going to be 45.2 millimeter. A lug to lug is about 47. The thickness is only 11.75, so they're really thin, and they do have the carbon core guard case design. So just metal backing here, that's just a press plate, but the main body construction of the watch is that carbon material, and then it is surrounded in this resin. So the width here at the lug, if you will, is 25.5 millimeter. Strap tapers down to 18.5. Super lightweight at only 50 grams. And then you have the two-handed analog with a digital display down here in this lower portion. And then you have another analog hand indicating the day of the week. Retail on these, both of these were $110. I picked them up from G-Shock USA. I'll put a link in the description to the website, but I paid full price. I ordered up both of them. As soon as they were released, I knew they were going to be a hit additionally. I'm not even sure if they're in stock yet, again, but you have just basic, simple construction, very similar to, back in the day when the 5600 came out. It was very basic, although those still can be had for around $40. These are still holding solid at around the $100 mark. I still think it's worth it. I mean, $100, you have a little bit more unique and certainly wearable for pretty much any wrist size. Although, 45 millimeter, here it is next to a square, you can see they're going to be very wearable, and it's actually thinner than the square, so that aids in its comfort and wearability. So let's pop this guy on wrist, and then we'll check out the gray one. And before we do that, I'll actually change the time setting on this. I don't read the manuals, and I know a lot of you guys don't. And I also know a lot of you guys don't use a lot of the functions. I will run through the functions real quick, but we're not going to cover them in great detail, and I can easily show you. Here it is on my 7¼ inch wrist. Super comfortable, no problems there. Lightweight and thin is just going to make it super wearable for just about any wrist size. So when I say intuitive, basically you have 4 buttons. So A, B, C, D, right? This one here, they're labeled on the top, super easy to find. This is going to be your light button. You're not going to use that for adjusting anything. So really, you have 3 buttons that are used for adjusting anything. And if we zoom in, we can see, I already set this gray one up, so you can see the time difference there and the date difference. Scratch that. I set the blue one up, so we're going to set the gray one up. So you can see this one's actually correct. We're just after noon on Saturday, November 28th. And this one is set ahead because it probably ships from Japan that way. So if you hold the adjust button down until you hear that set, and then you hear the beep, now we're in the different time zones for the cities. It's already preset. You can finely tune the hands, for timekeeping, but these ones are already really close. So this button is going to take you forward through your cities, and this one's going to take you backward. So whichever way you need to go through the time zones. We're coming in through the United States now. You can see there's Denver and Mexico, Chicago, and New York City would be my time zone that I would be in. And then you basically, at that point, you just hit adjust, and it's going to automatically go back to my time zone. It changed my date to the current date, November 28th. And you can adjust these independently if you need to. I don't need to on this one. It was that simple, and that's typically how you're going to get them. You just need to adjust the hour for the most part. The timekeeping is probably going to be pretty close. And then you can see it also adjusted to Saturday. Sunday, it jumps back up there, and it's labeled as SU, and they separated them so you don't have an S by an S. So now your week is, Sunday through Saturday on this analog display. But as you can see, this gray one, I think is probably the bigger hit of the two, personally. It's kind of like a dove gray with a touch of battleship gray, if you ask me. That's what I kind of look at it as. And then you have a touch of white for the hands, and the markers are on the outside there. Now, why G-Shock didn't loom out, I mean, obviously I would have loved to have seen the indices loomed, and there's actually even an aftermarket now for those. You can take these apart and swap those out, and you can have loomed indices on these. But really, right from the factory, it would have been nice if they would have at least printed on some loom on that outer chapter ring. Maybe not down the whole indices, that would have been pretty killer, but at least do it on the outside there. That would have been nice. I'll pop this one on wrist so you can see what it looks like on my 7.25 inch wrist. I really like the gray one. I mean, they're both great. I'm going to keep both of them because I was a little reluctant to warm up to the G-Shock GA2100 series in the beginning, but the more models that come out, and certainly these 2110s, I'm really warming up to them, and I'm excited to see what future colorways they come out with. So I'm going to be collecting these along with the squares. I think that's a 1-2 punch for me anyway. Also, all of these newer ones that are not the base model ones, I tested this and I can actually share it with you. See, they all have the quick release spring bars, just like these do. Well, these straps are interchangeable. So the 2100, 2110s will fit the straps and vice versa. You can swap these straps over. So if you have a bunch of these, you can automatically just play around with different combinations, and certainly there's going to be option to just buy them independently of the watch, and maybe there's a market really for G-Shock to tap into with just the straps independently, custom weird straps that will work on multiple different platforms. So I'm excited to see that. If that's not already a thing, I'm sure it will become a thing. So let me swap these out real quick. I'm not going to do it on camera. Well, I mean, I guess I can. So this square actually came with this tool, and it seems to work pretty good. So, I mean, basically you just put it in there because most people don't have G-Shock spring bar fingernails. So you basically push this in there, slide that over, and it'll just pop right out. It's not crazy difficult like some of the previous gen ones. It is a little harder for me to do on camera, but I kind of slide it over to the non-bolt side and get that pin in. But I mean, you can see I just did that blindly, basically. I couldn't even see. And then, you want to make sure it clicks in, and you can usually see the bar click in. But what I'm saying is I'll slide this over like this when I'm putting it in, and line that up with the hole first, and then just kind of rock it over. So there you can see is an interesting combo. I think that works very good, and this is actually going to have some glow-in-the-dark features, but it's also going to be pretty expensive to buy this one. But I mean, if you already have it, then you can swap it over. And I think that's a great looking combo right there. That looks actually better than this strap on this watch. So that's why I'm saying in the future, hopefully we will see G-Shock do way more strap options that you can buy independent of the watch and then wear them. But I think that just looks killer. I don't think it's as comfortable as the other strap because it needs to be broken in, just the way the layering is on it, but it looks great. So the options are there. Definitely some fabric straps would be cool, but that's a great looking watch. So let's check the lume on both of these, and then we will also check the performance of the light. As you can see, this one with this strap glows in the dark, so ultimate cool factor. And then of course the light is plenty bright enough, and it's a dual light, so meaning that there's an LED down there to illuminate the whole watch face, but it also has the backlight of the digital display. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next vid.